Hi guys, let's talk about this YouTube movie titled Love and Sacrifice. Starring Maurice Sam, Shaznay Okawa, and Michelle Oluwafemi, this movie tells the story of a man called Charles, who is incapable of loving any woman. So he sleeps with different women and avoids any form of commitment. But his life takes an unexpected turn when a daughter he didn't know he had suddenly shows up in his house, all the way from Lagos. And then he is forced to take her in and take care of her. He enters into a contract marriage with a lady, Stella, whom he didn't love, just to please his daughter who wants a complete family. But after some unfortunate events leading to the kidnap of his daughter and the literal resurrection of Stella, Charles falls in love. As usual, let's look at the good and the bad about this movie. You see, the only thing I like about this movie is the message that you shouldn't stick around where you are not valued. I mean, Stella got emotionally and even physically hurt because she stuck around her ex-boyfriend David, who neither valued nor respected her. She repeated the same mistake with Charles, who was not capable of loving, even though Stella wanted love. So she made a huge sacrifice that took her life initially before she got a second chance. Now, apart from this message, the movie was poor and generally unrealistic. For example, how did 7-year-old Mitchell travel all the way from Lagos to Abuja alone? Yeah, I get that she was put on the bus by her mom, but how did she find her way from the park in Abuja to her father's address alone, 7-year-old? Secondly, after Charles brought Stella home to give her shelter, the next scene was Stella in the kitchen making breakfast, followed by another scene where she and Mitchell, the daughter of Charles, were studying. So it was a bit unreasonable when in the following scene after then, she was judging Charles for bringing home a woman. I mean, by the way, how did Stella even get the tomatoes she was making breakfast with? I mean, Charles didn't cook and of course didn't have food items at home. So from where did the tomatoes appear that morning? And then there was this poor continuity. For example, when Stella was shown without a plaster on her forehead in one scene, leading the viewer to think that her bruises had healed. But then in the next scene, her plaster was back. It was also important to note that in the scene where the plaster was off, there was no scar or any mark on Stella's face to show that, oh, there was something there initially, or that it was healing, or that it had healed. And then after the plaster reappeared in the next scene, it disappeared again and was never shown again in the movie subsequently. Now, furthermore, what was the essence of the contract marriage if Mitchell didn't know or think that her dad and Stella got married? I mean, the contract marriage was supposed to fulfill Mitchell's desire to have a complete family. But Mitchell did not even know or think that they were married. This was very well underlined when Mitchell was asking Stella to go and check on Charles one morning when he didn't come down during breakfast. Mitchell, Charles's daughter, was worried that something could be wrong because her father never woke up late. If she thought her dad and Stella were married and sleeping together, she would be asking Stella if Charles was okay and not asking that they go and check on him, because she would have imagined that Stella and Charles slept together and woke up together that morning. Then, when Charles returned from the hospital and Stella was scolding him for being careless to the extent of being drugged and robbed by the sex worker he brought home, Charles was shocked at being told that he was drugged. So, what the hell did he go to the hospital for? Wasn't he told while he was admitted in the first instance? Now, in addition, the kidnap story was made to look like an insider job. I mean, it happened when Stella wasn't available to pick Mitchell up from school. Charles was delayed by a sex worker, so he went to Mitchell's school late. The kidnappers went in a car that looked exactly like Charles's car. Mitchell entered the car even when it wasn't her dad in the car. For a smart kid that came all the way from Lagos to Abuja alone, opened the car, thought it wasn't the dad, and still entered anyway. And then the kidnapper asked that Stella be the one to bring the ransom. So why make it look like an insider job if the identity of the kidnapper was not going to be disclosed? I mean, why not make it like a random kidnap incident? And finally, some of the actors were very, very poor. David, for example, that Stella's ex, was the worst of all. His acting was as forgettable as the conversation he had with Stella at the parking lot, where he claimed he had been searching everywhere for Stella. I mean, what about Stella's phone? Why didn't he call her on the phone or say that he called her but it wasn't connecting? Honestly, this was highly underwhelming. I mean, kudos to the producer and director for their effort, because making a movie is not easy, especially in Nigeria. But surely they could have done better. This is easily a 3/10 for me. Have you seen this movie? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? And please don't forget to share this video, like it, and subscribe so you get to watch all the videos when I post them.